vacancies of jobs, and typically when when you get a big recovery, that those vacancies start to shrink, and employment starts to grow, and unemployment starts to shrink. In this recovery, we're seeing the vacancies growing in a recovery, which shouldn't be happening.
What do you think that means?
Well, one of the big questions that people are asking now, fundamentally, do we have a structural problem where people's skills and education are not matching the new economy, the economy that's evolving?
Or is it that they want to cut out the fairly decent wage jobs, the ones that are empty, the jobs that are empty, like in the state of Illinois, some of them were union jobs, some of them were middle management jobs, right. And I feel like we're all being prepared for, well, it doesn't matter what you used to do and what you used to make, get used to making less of the 99% anyway.
Well, this 99, I mean, the interesting thing about 99 versus 1%, or about what we're talking about, to me, technology is changing so fast. It's growing exponentially. There's a good book I talked about with these guys, the Age of the Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil, and he's interesting. You go on the web, look up Kurzweil, Kurzweil. There's like a little YouTube. He explains it, but his thesis, and the book's about 1,000 pages, but it's the same page over and over again, which is that exponential growth. He demonstrates that exponential growth in technology has been occurring for 1,000 years, but we're at this elbow where technological change is happening so fast that whole industries gets destroyed in a couple of years, right? So that Craigslist can destroy the newspaper industry.
Right.
Because it gets rid of classified ads.
That's the example I was waiting for.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the technological change that might have occurred in 20 years, 100 years ago, now occurs in 2.
Yeah.
The problem is, human capital takes about the same amount of time to develop it as it used to. It takes 4 years to go through college, etc. So you can have a person spend 20 years in an industry, have it wiped out virtually overnight. Right. Then what do you do? So that technological change is outstripping the ability for humans
to retread the economy to match it.
Yes. So and you can have because of leverage, because Craig, guy's name is Craig, I think.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. He has such incredible leverage with this tool that he has developed through the internet, etc., that he can do what 1,000 people did before. So the question is, what do you do with those other 999 people?
That is the question.
It's a wonderful thing, right? It's like, let's say I could invent a machine. I press a button, I get any food I want. I just say, filet mignon out of Pops. That's a great thing, right? But then what happens to the millions of people in that industry? And that's what's happening. We're seeing just incredible gales of creative destruction, Schumpeter's greatest destruction, occurring, and we're experiencing, and you see that manifested in a number of ways, right? There's a Russian proverb: when you drain the swamp, you bring out the alligators, right? So I
know they had alligators in Russia.
I saw that in this movie. I have no idea. That's a good point. Maybe the Black Sea somewhere. It's actually.
Are we sure the Russians
I swam in the Black Sea.
Or did a movie director say it?
That's a proverb I saw in a movie about. Saw that in an American movie. So. No, it
didn't involve any Russians at all.
Probably not. Well, I had, yeah. So, but my point is that with this technological advancement is possibly creating structural issues around employment, but my point is it manifests itself in a number of ways. As these things start to change, then who gets to keep their job, who loses it, who gets paid, who doesn't, that all gets worked out politically, and that's
big problem.
That's a big problem. That's a mess.
Well, let's jump to that because, as much as I understand the structural dislocation around jobs and, I grasp a little of the essence, I am a little curious. Are we in recession or depression? What the difference might be? And I'm also wondering how much is it You started to address the political. How much is it that the Republicans got control of the House and refused to pass anything or take a meaningful step on anything that our President Obama has proposed? I mean, is it just... is it true that from the day one he was elected, their goal was to bring him down any way possible?
Your limit is 3 questions, Michael.
Okay.
Answer any of those.
Well, for me, the interesting question for me then isn't, I always like to think about the inverse. So it isn't, okay, you've got these Republicans who, it's a radio, so I don't want to say
What you want to say.
what I think about these people. And then Democrats, and they're at an impasse,
Who aren't
right?
that good either.
No, I'm not. No, curse on both
Just
their
so we're
houses.
clear.
They're all, what's the
pox
Ambrose
on both
Pierce
you.
definition of a politician is
sleeping
takes
in
money
each
from one
other's bed.
person to give to another with the pretense of protecting one from the other, right? But
You got to hone your quotation thing, but we didn't give you any warning.
Come on, we got 6 minutes. Let's roll.
okay, the issue is each one of those people, those representatives and senators, represents a constituency. So my question is, what is it saying? What is Congress and what is the administration saying about reflecting about the constituents? That's what I
That
find
not
interesting.
enough of them vote is what
Well,
it's
none
saying.
of them, but and structural
in our
issues.
system.
These structural issues are important, like gerrymandering.
Oh, yeah.
The fact we have gerrymandered
Tell
these
it.
districts so that they are extremely red or extremely blue. That,
Exactly.
Same
Same thing with the wards in Chicago.
the wards, or actually, the League of Women Voters a couple years ago tried to change the gerrymandering, the redistricting, I should say, rules in Illinois, and no one cared. So my issue is, hey, electorate, wake up. Redistricting is more important than just about anything you can think of politically,
Bingo.
because it drives everything. It drives who gets
Bingo.
elected, etc. So because redistricting has made these districts so partisan, guess what we have in Congress?
Right.
So
Right.
that's an issue. It's just this inside baseball stuff has huge consequences down the road that play out. So one of the reasons I think that we've got such partisan, dysfunctional Congress is because of this just simple, and to be honest, I don't know why the Supreme Court, it says in the Constitution they have to be compact. These things look like spider webs, but that's neither here nor there. The districts, they just, these Rorschach tests they look like, right?
Right.
And they call that compact, and that's what it says in the Constitution.
No,
But
yeah.
I'm not a
Compact,
Supreme Judge.
straight lines is
But
what it
aside
says.
from that, though, what does it say about the electorate? Well, we're in the midst of this tremendous economic upheaval, I think, driven by technology, and it's creating these groups that are fighting for what's left. I mean, what is politics? It's the resolution of a conflict of interest. That's what politics is. I mean, it's
Who
a
gets
messy
how
business.
much,
Who
why,
gets how much,
and
right?
how
of
soon.
what's left?
And when?
And there's a group, and I can't remember the name. They've studied the voting habits of Congress for like 50 years. It's post-war, and they rank senators and congressmen by. I know in the Senate they've ranked the Senate like how far left they are and how far right they are, and then they reach a conclusion how many senators overlap. So let's say, the most conservative Republican historically has been more. I'm sorry, the most liberal Republican has been actually
more liberal
than the most conservative
the right wing of the Democrats. Yeah.
And their point is, you only
don't
get
cross
movement because you've got
That
some
crossover.
intersection, that crossover. And for the first time since they've measured, there's no crossover. You got Olympia Snow out now, and you've got some others, so that there is actually no senator in the Democratic side who is more conservative than the most liberal Republican senator, and that's an issue, right?
That's a good measurement to.
That's an interesting measure.
It is an interesting measurement.
So it tells you objectively we really are. This isn't just.
But we're going to run out of time now. But and we've done a couple conversations with you, Jeff. Now that we should probably be a little more prepared ahead of time to give you a chance. But I think that the other opportunity going on right now is pushing solutions. And despite the incredible lack of local and possibly national media coverage of it, there were some significant conversations held in this city 3 weeks ago amongst people who actually look for solutions and who
Right.
are standing up and saying old ways don't work, making war, occupying other lands, displacing people, other populations,
Right, they don't
having
work.
most of our population not even know what we're doing over there,
Right.
that sort of thing. And I refer, of course, to the NATO and G8 activities. Anyway, I'm appalled at the media lack of coverage and the People's Summit, which involved a couple thousand people right up here at People's Church for 2 days. Entirely peaceful, thoughtful, thought-provoking activities, and all that got covered was about 20 guys trying to get their heads banged by cops.
Right.
And cops willing to...
Speaking of all that, we will, on next week's show, have people who participated in the NATO demonstrations, and we will talk about the events and what it meant for the city.
Cool.
And we want to thank Jeff for coming on again.
Yep.
And we'll have you back.
What's the name of that book? Singularity is Coming?
Singularity is Near.
Is
by,
Near.
By Ray Kurzweil, yeah.
Right.
We want to thank Kimberly Bears of the Rogers Park Business Alliance
Yay.
for coming on. We want to thank everybody who tuned in and listened on this Saturday morning, the 2nd of June in the year 2012. And we want to certainly thank everybody who makes this show possible, from Lisa Smith, Angel, Eli, Laura Herman, Paul and Mary Wozniak, and a host of other people who encourage us to go forward, both for Katie and myself, Katie Hogan and Michael James. I want to say continue to do good in the world. The world needs all the good that you do. All power to the people, over and out. Have a great Saturday.
Hop on your bike and come to our corner, because you definitely can't drive.
Yeah, I know it's kind of rambling. It's good. Discourse.
It was a mellow...
Oh, look who's here.
a mellow conversation.